Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the Qur'an gave His book the description, the attribute, Al-Majid. And this name, Al-Majid, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave it to Himself. He described Himself as Al-Majid subhanahu wa ta'ala. And He called His Arsh, Rabbul Arsh al-Majid. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala swore in the Qur'an, took an oath in the Qur'an in Surah Qaf, Qaf wal Qur'an al-Majid. What's the meaning of the word Majid? It means glorious. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has made His revelation glorious. Why? Because it does lead to glory. Glory in the eyes of Allah looks different than glory in the eyes of people. We call that legacy in our human language. When did Allah use this name? It's interesting surah in the Qur'an, Surah Al-Buruj. In Surah Al-Buruj, Allah told us a story of a group of believers. They believed in la ilaha illallah, but they had a tyrant king that saw that statement as a threat to his throne and to his control. So he built a huge fire and dug a ditch and fill it with firewoods and burn the believers in it. They even say he burned the people inside their homes and houses. And right now in southern Saudi Arabia, in Jizan, they found this village, and it's actually, there is a whole layer of ash, subhanallah, because the whole village was burnt by that king. Interestingly, these people that Allah mentioned in the Qur'an as Ashab Al-Ukhdud, they didn't win a battle. They didn't, win against the tyrant. As a matter of fact, they all got burned to death. This reminds us, subhanallah, of what just happened in the last 2 years in front of our eyes in Palestine. Those people didn't have any win, but we witnessed that there is a different type of glory. The whole world opinion shifted and changed, something that is almost impossible in modern terms. My dear brothers and sisters, legacy in the eyes of Allah is different than legacy in the eyes of the people. You have to ask yourself, what do you want to be your legacy after you pass away? It's very hard for people when they are in their 20s or 30s to think about this issue of legacy. But if you're 40 and above, you should start thinking. As they say, if you hit 40, you have started shopping in the markets of Al-Akhirah, the hereafter. My dear brothers and sisters, Allah showed us in the Qur'an different examples of people who left different legacies. Pharaoh, عليه لعنة, built pyramids, وَفِرْعَوْنَ ذِي الْأَوْتَادِ, pyramids like mountains. And these pyramids were supposed to be the graves of the kings of these pharaohs. The pyramids still exist, but who mentions Pharaoh with an ounce of goodness or praise? No one. You mention the name Pharaoh, even amongst historians and atheists and non-believers, he's cursed, tyrant. When you talk to the people of the book or to the Muslims, they all have the same negative and curse towards Pharaoh, عليه لعنة. But you mentioned the name of Ibrahim. What did Ibrahim leave behind? Where is the house of Ibrahim? Where is the grave of Ibrahim? Where is this high building? Nothing. He left 2 houses for Allah, Al-Kaaba and Al-Masjid Al-Aqsa. And you don't mention the name of Ibrahim in front of any believer, but he has so much praise and love for Ibrahim alayhi salam. That's why we have to ask ourselves, what is glorious in our eyes? I know a true story of a person who spent like 30 years away from his hometown and his country, collected so much money and built a building that had like 36 apartments in it. He was so proud in himself. When he finished building the building, he stood in front of it, looked at it. It's still fresh, new, it's not even rented. he looked at it and then he died and passed away. He couldn't even enjoy and reap the benefit and get paid the rent. My dear brothers and sisters, when we go to the graveyard, when we bury someone, when was the last time you stood up on a grave and people said, MashaAllah, this person was an amazing person. He owned Ferraris and Lamborghinis, and he owned apartment buildings and houses and private jets. Nobody praises you after your death because of how much wealth you made. Yet you spend your entire life trying to impress people with your wealth. You will never impress them. They will be envious. They will hate you. You will lose the most dear relationships to you, your spouse, your sons, your daughters, your parents, your brothers and sisters, because you were busy just collecting that money and being selfish because you thought that's what's going to impress people. People are touched with a good word, with a good deed, with someone who stands with them. When we stand at a grave of someone, when people say, MashaAllah, he used to give charity. He used to help the orphans. He used to be there for the widows. He was there for his parents. He was very kind to his neighbors. He supported anyone that came and asked him for support. That's how people get praised. That's the glory and the legacy that Allah wants for us in Al-Quran Al-Kareem. That's why He called it Al-Quran Al-Majid. Subhanallah, in Al-Quran Al-Majid, Allah gave legacy to Ashab Al-Ukhdud, the people who just got burned, but they did not change their iman and faith. They stood strong, and Allah praised them for that in His book. May Allah Azza wa Jal, after we long pass away and no one remembers us, if our children and great-grandchildren have passed away, may Allah remember us and grant us good deeds that will last beyond our death and will generate for us an hasanat. And may Allah make us glorious in His eyes. Ameen ya Rabbal Alameen. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.